guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe now. My name is Lay and I post all things mom life, lifestyle, faith-based content, and a lot of other things. But today we are going to actually be going over some questions that you guys sent in. I'm going to do a Q&A. You guys sent a lot of questions in a while back, and I'm finally getting around to answering those questions for you guys. I know it's been a minute. Mom life is crazy. If you're a mom, you know. But anyway, today we're gonna get into some questions. If you see me looking down at my phone, it's because I copy and pasted all of your questions into the notes, into my notes, so I could stay on track, because I can rant and ramble all day long and completely get off task, and then next thing you know, I'm on a whole nother subject that has absolutely nothing to do with what we're talking about. So that's why I'm looking down. If you see me and you're wondering, that's why. But let's go ahead and just jump right into these questions. You guys sent in some really good ones. And yeah, so the first one is, how do you manage balancing being a full-time working mom and running your own business? So really, to answer that question, I really struggle with that still. Being a working mom, and on top of that, a mom to 4 small children. My oldest is 9, but I will say, like, I'm very much so like a ambitious, go-getter type of person. And so I'm very passionate about the things that I do. And being a mom, like, obviously, well, for me, I will say, is being a mom is my top priority. I want to be there. I want to show up for them when they need me. I want to be intentional with the time that I spend with them. But then again, I'm also very passionate about my business endeavors and the things that I'm doing. And so trying to balance those things, I really struggled with that. I think I've gotten a lot better. And really what that boiled down to was me, a lot of planning. Planning out my days, mapping out my week, how much time I'm going to dedicate to my business and my other endeavors that I have as an entrepreneur. All of those things need to be planned, because I have noticed with experience that if I do not plan out my days, and what I mean by that is like putting time aside in my calendar, like on this day, I'm going to dedicate this much time to this, the rest is to family or the kids or the house, my husband, those kind of things, I can seriously get easily carried away in my business and my other hobbies and things like that. And then I'm feeling guilty at the end of the day, like, oh my gosh, I wasn't as present as I should have been. Or I feel just the load of mom guilt, because what did I do all day besides pour into my stuff? So yeah, that has really helped me. And I notice it's made such a big difference in just my whole work life, mom life balance here at home. I also work from home, so that's a whole nother thing in itself. But let's go ahead and move on to the next question. I hope that answered that for you guys. The next one is, what inspired you to start your own skincare line? That's a good question. So my son, all of my kids except for my youngest daughter, have all struggled with eczema. As a child, I had eczema myself, but my youngest son has had it the worst. And I had tried so many topical creams, lotions, moisturizers, medications, like different things, and nothing really seemed to help. And I was desperate to find something that worked for him, to give him some kind of relief from the itching, from the breakouts, from the flare-ups and all of that. And so a few years ago, I actually I was interested in making CBD body butters, and I actually did. I made them and I used to sell it years ago. And so fast forward to the beginning of last year, I was like, okay, let me use some of the knowledge and resources that I do know to maybe I can try and make something for my son to really help his skin. And anyway, I started doing some research. I was looking up like different ingredients, and then I ended up making something for him, and I used it and it worked wonders. Like his skin, I'll show you before and after pictures here, but his skin was like, the difference was incredible. And so really seeing the results and seeing how easy it was for me to formulate something that really helped him, it just kind of fueled a passion for me to start making other things. And I was like, oh, well, what other things can I make for myself that I could use? And then I started to pour into looking up and researching ways to help my own skin issues. Like I have, you know, hyperpigmentation and blemishes and acne and all of those things. And so started doing my research, I started playing with ingredients, and I started learning how to formulate. And then all of these things just kind of came into this full circle moment of now I have a skincare line, a thriving business that I'm super passionate about, that has been very beneficial to a lot of people that have purchased my products. And so I'm just really thankful, and all glory to God, because he gave me the idea, the vision, and he's just been pouring into my business and helping me along the way. So yeah, that's what inspired me to start my own skincare line. Let's get into the next question. Can you share some tips to other moms who are struggling with work-life balance, SOS? Yeah, so some advice that I can give is planning out your days, planning out your time. It's really all about prioritizing your time and being very intentional. Because I will say, like, sometimes I've been guilty of this myself. I get carried away. Sometimes I'll get too carried away and then I forget about business stuff. Get too carried away in my business and then it's like, okay, did I spend any time with my family? So it ties into what I said earlier about the first question that I answered, is really map out your days. Because what I've learned is, before I wasn't mapping out my days, it was kind of like, okay, on this day I think I'll do this, on that day I think I'll do that, oh, maybe this day, you know, like none of that works if it is not written down. Like, put it in your phone, put it in your calendar, write it on a physical calendar. Like I have one on my wall here. It's just not going to get done. And really another thing is having the discipline. That's so key. Having the discipline to stick to the things that you've mapped out. Obviously, like, life throws us curveballs all the time, and some things just happen and we just can't control that, right? Like, we might plan to do something or have it on our calendar or whatever the case may be, and sometimes things happen where, okay, you're being pulled in another area and it takes priority over what you have planned, so you just can't get to it. And those things are okay. Like, that's just life. That's inevitable. But at least you're setting yourself up for the most success by planning out your time and being intentional and having the discipline to try to do your best to stick to that. So that is my best piece of advice, is make sure that you're prioritizing your time. Your children, your family always come first. Obviously, if you're an entrepreneur or you're running your own business, you might have to tweak a few things. Like, for me, like, if I have a lot of orders for my skincare line and I'm like, okay, I've got to focus on getting these products made. I've got to focus on getting my labels and all of these things done, because I do make my own labels. There's a lot of things that I do on my own. I don't outsource to other companies to help with that. It's everything. I'm just like a one-woman band type of deal. So sometimes some weeks might, you know, require me to invest a little more time into my business so that I can get those things done and keep that running. But yeah, that's the best piece of advice that I can give. What does a typical day for you look like? You make it look so easy with 4 kids. First, I will say thank you. That is such a big compliment, because it is not easy. There are a ton of struggles behind the scenes. I have 4 children. My oldest is 9. my 9-year-old daughter, and then I have my 5-year-old son who will be 6 in August, my 2-year-old, almost 3-year-old son, and then I have a 1-year-old daughter. And so just the age ranges, like my husband and I are always talking about, like everyone has their own unique needs and they're all at different stages of their life where it's crazy. It is incredibly challenging every single day. I work from home. I am in healthcare. I actually went to the regional side of the company that I work for. And so I do have the luxury of working from home, which is fabulous because I used to work in clinic for 10 years and I just recently took a position work from home last year. So working from home and then also finding that balance, like my small children are still here while my oldest are at school. There's a lot of like navigating and planning and plans that fall through and things that don't work out, and it's just a lot. It's a lot. And so thank you. But it's definitely not easy. My husband and I are a great team in just making sure that the kids are taken care of, the house is taken care of. He also works, but he works, his shift changes from time to time. And so having to also navigate those changes, and it's a lot. But what I will say is we are able to do that because my husband is here majority of the day before he goes to work, and I'm getting off work because I get off at 12:30. I start work super early. So I get off work at 12:30 and he doesn't leave until a couple hours after I get off. So we still have that time where I don't have to still be working and he's leaving for work, and then I'm having to navigate balancing the kids and work at the same time. Of course, when it comes to my skincare line, if I've got orders and different things like that and he's gone to work, that's a whole nother story. I usually schedule that in throughout the week to say, okay, on this day, I'm going to prepare for the next day so that it's the load's a little bit lighter if I know that my husband is working the next day. So hold on a second. But yeah, so see, I got off track. A day in my life. So I wake up at 5 a.m. I start work at 6 a.m. My healthcare job. And I like to do a little exercising. If it's not like a full-blown workout, because I usually do them on YouTube. If it's not, I usually do like a full stretch session. So at least spend like 15 minutes stretching, all of that. I'll make myself like a nice breakfast, a healthy one. And I do like to spend time praying and in my Bible before I get my day started. I feel like that really just sets the tone for my day in the most positive way. And I am a very strong believer that spending time with God at the beginning of your day is, there's just no other way. Like I cannot get through my day if I don't start with him. So waking up at 5 a.m., healthy breakfast, stretching or exercise, spending time in the Bible and prayer, and then getting my morning started before work at 6 a.m. I work from 6 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. My husband's here, so he kind of navigates like the kids and breakfast and all that stuff with them. And then when my kids are in school, because they're on summer break right now, but when they're in school, I usually go and pick them up because my husband's already off to work. And then coming home and dinner, cleaning up throughout the day. My days are not really like super exciting. It's pretty much the same routine thing every day. And then throughout the week, obviously I schedule in like if I have to fulfill orders or create products and things like that. So yeah, that's really a typical day in my life. I do also spend quite a bit of time throughout the week when the kids are in school at my mom's, because she lives so close to my kids' school. It takes me about 20 minutes to get to the kids' school because we live a little far away. But yeah, so I'll usually spend time at my mom's, take the kids over there after I pick them up, and that's a typical day in my life. What advice would you give to someone wanting to start their own business? I've been trying to for so long, but mom life takes over. Yeah. So I can say that you just have to go for it. You really just have to take that step of faith and pursue your goals. Pray about it first. That's the first thing. Pray about it. And you really just have to go for it. Do your research. And obviously, like, if you don't know what kind of business you want to start and you're like, I want to start something and I don't know what, figure out what your passions are, what your interests are. And that's where you're going to find what your niche is. Like, what are things that you're good at? What are things that even if you don't know what you're good at, like, think of things that you're interested in and do the research and build your knowledge on whatever it is that you're interested in and go from there. But really the best advice is to just go for it. Like, if you fail, you fail. If you don't do so well, you're going to learn a lot along the way. Don't let fear get in the way of starting something, because if you never start, then you've already failed yourself because you're holding yourself back. So just go for it. I know that mom life is very demanding, especially of your time, of your mental, of your physical, everything. And so that can definitely be challenging, but the best advice that I can give is just go for it. Just do it. Make sure you pray about it. Do your research, and yeah, do yourself a favor and, just go for it. How do you handle criticism and negativity when it comes to pursuing your own personal goals? I'm trying to figure out how can I answer that question. Okay, so here's something that I do want to say related to that, I think. So I said in the beginning, I'm a very ambitious, go-getting type of person. I am just always on to the next thing. I'm always building something. I'm always creating something. I am definitely a creator at heart, and I've always been that way. And so sometimes, I've heard, people say, I think you're taking on too much. You really should just focus on this. A lot of, I don't want to say like criticism. I feel like that's a really strong word, but it is a form of criticism, to my own goals or, my plans and the things that I'm doing. But how I see it is that other people's opinions about me are none of my concern. Like, that's not my business. If someone else has something to say or criticize about how I'm doing something or a choice that I made, or, how I feel about it is if I've prayed about it, I've taken it to God, and He's given me the vision or the resource. He's opened the door for me to take that step. That's all that I need. I don't need anyone else's, like, none of the rest of what anyone else has to say does not matter. And I struggled with that for so long, always seeking or looking for approval from other people or validation. And really, I've been on this journey lately. I've just been on this journey of drawing closer to God and really just leaning on Him and not on, others for really, anything. If I try not to, but really just talking with Him and spending time with Him and praying and being in His Word and leaning on Him and building my faith and my relationship with God. It's like the way that I move and the way that I think and what other people say, it really doesn't affect me as much as it used to. And yeah, so the criticism and what other people might say or judge when it comes to the choices that I made, like, I really try not to even let it affect me. And 8 times out of 10, it doesn't anymore. And so, yeah, their criticism, their judgment, their opinions of me and the choices that I make have nothing to do with me. Just like if someone's criticizing you and your dreams and your goals, your aspirations, your ambitions, those are your business. That's between you and God. Or if you don't believe in anything at all, that's between you and you. Everyone else doesn't matter. No one else's opinions matter. You have to live your life for you, and other people need to live their life for them. And that it's really just that simple. This is so good. What kind of products do you use in your hair? So I have natural curly hair. I used to straighten it a lot. I don't that much now. I kind of just been embracing my natural curls, but I really, really love Miss Jackie's hair products. I love the products. I really like their Pillow Soft curls. It's like a gel. Their moisturizer. I'm gonna just insert pictures here because I don't remember exactly what they are, but I'm gonna put them here. Those products I use on my hair, on the kids' hair, on the baby's hair. I honestly use my own, I make my own hair oil, and I also use that on my hair and the kids' hair too. But yeah, on the baby's hair, I don't use any shelf products. I only use my own hair oil that I make because I know what ingredients are in it, and I use it on all of our hair too. But primarily for myself, I like to use Miss Jackie's products. Those are really the only products that I'm using right now on my hair, and my own hair oil. So yeah. And I don't have a crazy hair routine. I really would like to do like a hair mask. I used to do them a long time ago, but I've noticed that there's a lot of popular hydrating curly hair masks that I've seen a lot of the girlies using, and I might try one or two pretty soon here because I do need to get a hair mask. I haven't done one in a while, especially with the summer. It's good to like hydrate your hair and all of that, just to keep your hair hydrated and healthy, especially if you're in the sun a lot. How do you stay connected with 4 kids? That sounds like a lot. It is a lot, and that's a really good question. So back to what I was saying earlier is my kids are at different ages and everyone requires a different kind of attention. They all have different personalities and they just all require their own unique needs. My husband and I really have been intentional on spending individual time with the kids. Like if I go, my daughter comes with me. My daughter comes with me pretty much everywhere I go. The baby too. So both my girls. The boys, I will take my 2-year-old, like my husband does the boy thing with the boys, and I'll take the girls. It's usually my daughter. Like we have our own little thing, my 9-year-old daughter and I, where we call it girl time. And we usually do that in the evenings. And she's got this whole cute little girl time kit. And what's in is like nail files, nail polish, skincare stuff that I've made. Lots of different things, little hair things. And so she'll bring her kit out and we'll do girl time. Sometimes we'll do like a face mask. Sometimes we'll do a hand mask, a foot mask, like different things. And we go shopping for different things to add to it. And that's kind of like our own thing. And then with my 2-year-old and my 5-year-old, they kind of have similar interests. And right now, like their big thing is like this marble run. And so we really like to do that with them. So they have their own individual excited, time with my husband and I. But really like what I have learned is that putting all the kids together and doing something as a family, that is so important. But also it's important to do individual things with them, because what I've noticed is that my 5-year-old, he's very vocal about wanting more attention. And so he will say, we already did that, but that's with everybody. And I really want to do this with just you and dad, or just you, or just dad. And so that really just switched a light bulb on in my head. Like, okay, I think we've been focusing too much on doing things collectively, like as a family, that we're, you know, kind of neglecting the individual time. And not intentionally, but I think it's just a lot easier because we have so many kids to, like, when we do invest our time and we're making it intentional, like, we're all going to do this as a family, we're all going to do, and those things are still important. But one thing that I learned is, like, really mapping out that time to spend individually with each child is so key, and they appreciate it and they love it. And yeah, so that's really important for me and my husband. That's something that we've been doing and it's been working really well. It also really helps them, their emotional balance too, because I notice that sometimes the kids might feel like they're missing out on individual time, and then jealousy comes in, and then, you know, they're, you know, it's just tit for tat all day with the kids between each other. And I notice that when we spend our individual time with them, I think that just really fills their cup individually, and they can just show up to the rest of the family just in a much happier mood. So individual time is key. Do you ever get out? Get out like how? As far as getting out, like with my girlfriends, that is not too often. All of my girlfriends have kids. They all have their family and their businesses and all of that going on. So finding time to, like, hang out and spend time and just, like, kick it with one another is hard to come by. Everyone's schedule is just so different. But yeah, when me and my girls get out, it's very rare that we do, but when we do, it's usually like lunch or brunch, or my girlfriends come over and we'll do, you know, like dinner and drinks. If they can't find a sitter, which it's so hard, like, bring your kids, girl, because I got mine over here too. And the kids do their thing and we do our thing. And yeah, as far as my husband and I, we are scheduling in more date nights because that is really important for us to just have that time to connect separate from the kids and everything else, where we can just really focus on being husband and wife and dating again. Like, it's really hard, and this might just trickle into, you know, another subject, but yeah, I don't get out a whole lot. If you're talking about hanging out with, like, friends and, like, going out, like, outside, no, not much. But anytime that I do enjoy it a lot. My cousin recently, we went out for her bachelorette night, and we went out with, like, cousins and friends and family, and it was like a whole night. We went out. I don't do bar hopping or clubs or anything like that, but we did go bar hopping because that was the agenda for the evening and the night. And then we also did karaoke at this really cute place downtown. And we spent our whole time downtown just, you know, walking around, and that was so much fun. But yeah, so one thing my husband and I have talked about is making it very intentional to schedule those date night outs, so that we just have that time to connect with one another outside of being mom and dad. I got cut off. My husband was actually at work, and he came home early and surprised me. Like, seriously? Oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. He surprised me with food and flowers. You guys, I almost cried. I'm a big crybaby, and I was, like, so emotional all of the time, and it's that time of the month anyways, so it's like everything's amplified. But my husband is so sweet, you guys, and this was so thoughtful of him coming home early. That was such a sweet, nice, beautiful, wonderful surprise to have my husband home now, because I thought he was going to be getting off work later. But let's get into another question here. What made you want to start a YouTube channel? Good question. So I love creating content. I'm not the best content creator. I think that's, like, people really have their own unique individual creative ways, but I just really love to vlog. I love to record. I love capturing moments. I love talking. I love editing. I love the whole aspect of it. I love the whole content creator aspect of it all. So creating a YouTube channel just really just allowed me to have a platform where I can sit and do, you know, talking content with you guys. You can really do that on any platform, but I really like the YouTube platform. So yeah, I just thought I would take it over to YouTube and sit and talk with you guys and vlog about, you know, my life and my weekend and the kids and business stuff, anything related to being an entrepreneur, my skincare line, all the things. So my son keeps coming in here, popping in, sorry. Anyways, I am going to go ahead and end and wrap up this video here. There were a lot of questions that you guys asked. You guys asked some really great ones. There were a ton more that I just can't get to right now. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to watch this Q&A video with me. Sorry, my battery died. But if there's any other kind of content that you guys want to see me do, or you have other questions and you want me to do another Q&A and answer any of the questions that you guys have for me, feel free to leave it in the comments. If you guys want to see me do another Q&A related to something specific, or just another Q&A in general to answer questions that I did not answer in this video, please feel free to leave it in the comments. I would love to do another video like that. And yeah, if you're not already subscribed, don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, hit the notification bell so you know when I post videos, and thank you for tuning in, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.